is going on, everybody? I go by Philly Mike, host of the Philly Talk podcast, but we are back with Battle Birds podcast. I was absent last week due to the Sunday night game. Had a lot of stuff going on after Thanksgiving, but the Eagles won. But Philly Fresh and Gate City, who's not here, by the way, will be coming in soon, held it down. We got the dub in a offensive fashion. But how we feeling today going against the Tennessee Titans, Fresh?
You're that man. You know what it is. You know what it is. Your boy Philly Fresh, aka the General. Hey man, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. I just hate the fact, and I'm just gonna start it right off, Mike. I know we ain't got a lot of time. Let's get right to it. I hate the fact that they calling these guys dogs like we not dogs too. Oh, we dogs run faster. We already doing that. Come on, man. I got Kelsey been saying that since 2017. You know what I mean? And speaking of Kelsey, when you talk about dogs, the offensive line is dogs. Like everybody on the offensive line is dogs. Here's the difference between us and Cincinnati, who actually beat them last week. We have a good offensive line, and they still were struggling to stop the run. I think with Mixon out. So to me, man, I think you take it right at them with the run. I think you take it right at them. I wouldn't force feed AJ Brown, but I definitely would star him, as you should. He's a star wide receiver. But we also know we got another one on the other side. But I think today should be his day. He gets a game ball. And you don't want to force it. You want to let it naturally happen. But because of the run, because of they're probably going to try to put 9 men in a box, AJ's going to have a lot of one-on-one. And that's going to be a lot of trouble for the Titans. Go ahead, man.
Nah, I agree. I think that, the Titans definitely showed that they are susceptible to the run against the Cincinnati Bengals, although throughout the year they've been pretty stout. This Eagles team can run the ball on anybody. I don't care if you're the number 1, the number 5, the number 3, rush defense. We never should get away from the run, and sometimes we have a habit of doing that early in games. But I do believe all the wide receivers, including A.J. Brown, has a chance to eat. I could see this being a more, passive game for Nick Sirianni in this offense. Again, do not leave the run game go. But I can see Jalen Hurts 275, 300-yard type game. All receivers throughout the totality of the season have been averaging, quarterbacks passing to wide receivers versus the Titans defense over 104 rating. You know what I mean? So wide receivers have been their Achilles heel, and it's because of their secondary. Their linebacking core is pretty good. Running backs and tight ends haven't caught many passes on them, but wide receivers were able to eat, and I expect A.J. Brown, who's had a lackluster, 3 weeks, to come alive for sure against his former team.
Speaking of A.J. Brown, I apologize to him on my channel. I want to fully apologize to him again. No, I grinded him up. I didn't.
So did I. I didn't know. I didn't know he had all that going on. Because when I do the game, I have it mute though. So like a lot of stuff they probably talked about him being sick during the game.
No, they didn't.
They didn't.
They didn't say nothing about him being sick. And it's crazy. They said that I knew he was sick earlier, but I thought he got over it and he was fine. Like he was on the not injury report, but he had illness. So I thought he was fine. You know what I mean? But I did say in the halftime live that I did, I said something don't look right with him. Like he just didn't even seem engaged. Even when he scored the touchdown, he didn't seem engaged.
And he did the whole praying. He was like, "Thank you," like he didn't never think he was going to get another touchdown or something,
And when Jalen just threw it to him for like a 50-50 ball, he just threw his hands up. He wasn't engaged. But like I said, man, I gotta apologize on him being sick. He actually had a good game for him being as sick as he was. They said he was throwing up so much he blew a blood vessel in his eye. Like that's crazy. Like that's a whole lot of dry heaving. You're not even throwing up at that point. You know what I mean? Shout out to him, and shout out to what you just said, Mike. When you look at it, they said the Jaguars had the number 1 rushing defense. What we do? Put foots in ass. You know what I mean? Now they talking about they got the number 3 defense. We're gonna put foots in ass. That's what's gonna happen when you're right. Can't nobody stop this running game. And I don't know how you do it. I'm not gonna lie to you. Your main focus you try to make your main focus Jalen Hurts when running the ball. You don't want him to kill you. But Miles Sanders is just coming along, man. He is not playing out here. He ain't
Closing on
playing
that
out,
one Kizzy. That one Kizzy.
he ain't playing out here. And what he got, like 8 touchdowns now? Like he's not playing. And when you look at it, like I said, man, you gotta also shout out this offensive line. This is what they do. We understand we want to pass the ball. It's it's the new NFL. Everybody's throwing the ball, yada yada yada. This offensive line, they can hold down the pass. Well, they are built for the run. Like when
Mm.
the physicalness of Jason Kelsey get up to the second level. Landon Dickerson, we already know how physical he get. Come on, you got one of the biggest right tackles in the league, if not the biggest, in Jeremiah Latta. He played rugby, so he's used to going forward. You got Lane Johnson. I mean, Lane Johnson can do every freaking thing. What can I say, man? Man still hasn't given up a sack in 2 years. Like, I mean, you got dogs. You got dogs, man. And I'm not gonna lie. A lot of people have been grinding Jonathan Gannon up. I'm gonna say this: if your special teams and also your offense with the turnovers,
Mm-hmm.
if they let Aaron Rodgers start at the 37-yard line, the 13-yard line, and he got to go 59 yards to get touchdowns, that's what's going to happen. Now, when they had to drive the whole field, they did not score a touchdown. When they had to start at the 20 or whatever the case may be, even the last touchdown when everybody's grinding Jonathan Gannon up, that's not on him. You let the special team, listen, our special team coach, what's his name? Eric, whatever his name is.
Yo, and Madden's real because I played a couple games of Madden last night, and oh my god, they ran into the 45 every single time. Like nobody returned on me, but I'm like, Madden, you why are you being true to the cause, bro? Every kick return was running to like the 45-yard line. I'm like, all right, you know what? I'm gonna have to make sure I keep that out of.
I mean, that's what it is. Like the last drive, how you let a guy like you can't just keep letting people start at their own 40-yard. I mean, your 40-yard run. You can't keep letting that happen, and then expect the defense just to keep everybody out of the end zone. Now, I get it. That's their job. They're supposed to keep people out of the end zone, but it's so hard when you're starting in the wrong spot, especially with the dogs that we got. Now, if you start at the 20, people make more mistakes because they're more anxious to get, the offensive guys are more anxious to get up there because they're like, all right, we got to score.
Mm-hmm.
But when you keep starting, it's like, hey, we in field goal range already. Like, I mean, we in cruise control. So people got to understand that. To me, yes, Jonathan Gannon making some mistakes. Hopefully, just what I'm hearing, Nakobe Dean might play. I think this is the perfect game for him to play. You need missiles to shoot the gaps today. Blankenship, I think he can do it. You know what I mean? Shoot those gaps. But you need missiles to shoot the gaps today. And I'm talking about willing tacklers, guys that's not going to. I love Darius Slay, love Avonte Maddox, even C.J. Gardner. We know what these guys do when it comes to the pass, but they make business decisions when it comes to tackling. You know what I mean? They'll throw the shoulder out there. They don't wrap up. You know, the little cute type of hit. But no, Blankenship, he not with that. Blankenship is going to shoot out there and put his body on the line. And I think Nakobe Dean would do the same. We haven't seen him yet, really at all in the NFL defense. But I seen him in college do it. So I think you do need to play Nakobe Dean. You gotta find a way to get him on the field, especially for this game.
Yeah, and then again, I still don't believe that guys like Ndamukong Suh and Linval Joseph have their NFL legs right because I mean they only been practicing and going through the whole NFL lifestyle for 2 games. So I think they're going to get better as the season goes on. But this is a big game to show me how this run defense is, right? Jordan Davis coming back, is he going to be 100% like flying at the ball? Maybe not. But I think he's good enough to give it. He's good enough to give it a go, as the Eagles made him activated last night. I want to see because one of our biggest things going forward, like we at the point where we win this game, we clinch, we are in the playoffs 100%, and we know that the number 1 seed is the most important to have the playoffs go through Philly. But I don't overlook the rest of these games. No ifs, ands, or buts about that. But I'm looking toward, okay, what is our biggest weakness going into the playoffs? And I think down the stretch, starting with this game, going against King Henry, I really want to see if the additions, if the adjustments have been made to correct what I believe was a shaky run defense. I think we got the guys. I just need to see it be implemented. And I do believe linebacking play has to be pushed up. They did bring in Christian Ellis. Why? My two reasons is maybe because they're going to play a little bit more in the Kobe Dean, and or because that special teams is so bad and linebackers are tacklers, so maybe they wanted to get him up to have another special teams body. But you're right in the sense.
You definitely need one. I mean, and it's crazy that you said that the special teams is going to get worse because guys like Blankenship, he was on the in the Kobe Dean if they bring him. So yeah, you definitely do. And I'm very very disgusted with the special teams. I really am, man. Like
Jake Elliott got like 5 tackles on the season, bro. He has the most tackles out of all the kickers. You know what I mean? He's forced to. He's the last line of defense.
You don't want like.
Yeah, you don't want that.
That's a stat you don't want, man. I even with all that being said, though, I just think that this offense is too much, and this offense is chameleonaires. When I say that, they just adapt it to anything. To me, here's what I'm gonna say. Sometimes it's not adapting. I think that Nick Sirianni comes into a situation, even if the game plan worked last week, this is going to be the game plan for this game plan. Not go with a game plan and then if they stop it, you switch it. I don't think he's him and Shane Steichen are good at that. So I think they come into the game saying that this is going to be the game plan, and that's what it is. Even though it's different, even though whatever worked last week, we're going to do this. Now, last week was a little bit different because you come out, first 3 plays. What do? Throw the ball. But you score. You know what I mean? You score, and it seemed like it was going to it seemed like it was going to get crazy because how we kept getting stuck on 3rd down. And 3 third downs in a row, what does Jalen Hurts do? What he does. You know what I mean? He gets the 1st down. And I think Nick Sirianni seen these gaps finally opening up and Shane Steichen, and they said, yo, why don't we just run the ball? I don't know what finally clicked in their head, like, why don't we just run the ball? And that's what happened, and you seen dominance. I mean, 300.
Tough running.
What was it? 363 yards? You know what I mean? But I think they took, correct me if I'm wrong, do they take 3 or 4 yards when he take a nail or something like that? So I think they might have took a couple yards because of the nail down, you know what I mean? So, but anyway, it's still
350 plus is wild.
That's what I'm saying. Basically 2 players, but not only that, you put in Boston Scott. You know what I mean? You let Gainwell get a touchdown. It's like you're using your weapons. And like I said before, Mike, when you lose a guy in Dallas Goedert, you got to start using your other pieces. Because Dallas Goedert, and we've seen it, I'm going to say the first week, we've seen it against the Colts, how much he contributed to this offense. You know what I mean? So now you're in a position to where as though you got other talent. Quez Watkins is finally getting some of his just due. You know what I mean? And I'm happy to see it. I just like where this team is at. I know the national media, Mike, they piss me off sometimes. I don't you want to watch those shows. It's like everybody's just better than the Eagles all of a sudden.
Yeah, they got the Cowboys, and they're trying to say, Cowboys are. I forgot. Stephen A. Smith had the Eagles 5th as the 5th best team in the NFL. That's wild.
I'm watching. I was just watching NFL Live or whatever it's called, and everybody. I have no problem with Kansas City ahead of us. I do not think Buffalo is ahead of us, and even with Kansas City, that's a toss-up. I understand what Pat Mahomes is doing, but their defense isn't that great neither. They give up points, and not only that, they have lost to the team we have beat. You know what I mean? And then you got Minnesota. How do you put Minnesota ahead of us? We beat them. I don't care if it's later in the season. Until you beat us, you're not better than us. Point blank, period. You know what I mean? You got Dallas in front of us. I know what Dak wasn't there, yada, yada, yada. But we still beat them as a team. It's a team game, right? So we still beat them. So when you look at it, man, to me, I got the Eagles number 1 in the NFL. And the disrespect, I don't have no problem with people saying number 2. Even the Bills, to me, are not better than us.
Nah.
You know what I mean? Like, they're not. They came out firing, beating they have good wins, I guess you want to call it, beating the Chiefs or whatever the case may be, but You're not
They
to
got 3
me.
losses though. No matter how
Yeah,
many good wins they got 3
that's
losses.
what I'm saying. Why does record not matter anymore? As soon as we got a good record now, oh well, they're 10-1, but they're not the best team. How? Did that start happening?
Yeah. It went out the window when Philadelphia got it for sure.
That's what I'm
Shout out
saying.
to Jung Money though with the $2 super chat. What's your thoughts on the backup tight ends?
Mhm.
Let's talk about that because we did see, the tight ends get their first actual start against the Colts. Um, we saw some flags that costed us first downs. I think the tight ends did better against the Packers, especially blocking. Jack Stoll had a couple great blocks, a couple good catches. But how do you feel the tight ends performance has been the last 2 weeks? And we got what today and next week before Goddard comes off IR.
Way better than the Colts game, and it was way better than the Colts game because once again, like I just said, Mike, you didn't use them. He was like it was coming out in these street tight end sets like these dudes been playing all year. Like you're putting Tyree Jackson and the rest of those guys and Jack Stroh in a position to where as though they're that's why we fluttered at the beginning of the game. Those penalties was on them because you just can't throw these guys in there in the middle of the season and just say, "Hey, go figure it out." Especially when you got other talent, like I said, you don't have to run. You don't have to run a 13 personnel. You can run a 22 personnel. That's three wide receivers and two running
Two
backs.
backs.
You can do all these kind of things. You have the talent, and to me, they did better last week because they wasn't on the field as much. You get what I'm saying? But called upon, I think Jack Stroh is like a Brett Selleck type of blocker. He's not as aggressive as Dallas Goedert, but he's solid. You get what I'm
Mm.
saying? So I watched the film on him. I mean, to me, he was a contributor to us running that 363, man, because his blocking was nice. I liked it.
Yeah, I agree. I think, if you're telling me we're not getting Dallas Goddard back the rest of the season, I'm worried. But I think this group, the collective group we got, and by the way, I got to play with Grant Calcaterra on Madden. He's been catching them balls on Madden, though, for real.
Yeah, I
Trying to
like
get my
that.
Madden game up, though. I'm gonna start streaming some on the channel. Um, that being said, I think the collective group we got, as it pertains to blocking, some type of playmaking in Grant Calcaterra, and even Tyree Jackson, who's, you know, been on IR for the large part of this season, I think they can handle the job until one of the best tight ends in the NFL gets back, which is Dallas Goedert. That is some big shoes to fill. And I agree with you, Fresh. Filling them shoes, has to come more from the Zach Pascals, the Quez Watkins for playmaking, because I don't think we have a tight end that can even climb the playmaking ability of Dallas Goedert. I want to start seeing some running back screens. I know that Goddard was our big screen guy. And listen, I mean, he led the league in all tight ends out of all the tight ends and yards after the catch. If you look at Yak, he was actually, I think, top 5 if you're counting receivers, let alone be number 1 for the tight end. So it's a hard shoes to fill, but I like to see get the ball to Miles in space, man. I know he hasn't broke a big one, but he got that home run hitting ability anytime. But I loved how he was running tough. My man was putting in the work between the tackles against the Packers, falling forward, hitting the hole. And again, Tennessee's top 5 in run defense. I don't care when you are good at what you do it.
Yeah, you do it. No matter what. You're right, Mike. And it's crazy. You wasn't with us in the pregame last week, but I said that I actually said that in the
Was
pregame.
Miles your guy? Who was your offensive guy?
Shit. Who was my offense? Quez. I picked Quez.
He caught a
Yeah, he
touchdown.
caught a touchdown. He caught a touchdown. But I said this, and I actually made it short. You know what I mean? Shout out to you, Mike. Made it short about it. And it's me saying that. It's me saying that. Use Miles Sanders and on the wheel routes or whatever the case may be. And in the Colts game, when you look at it, at the end of the game, that was one of the reasons why we scored a touchdown to win the game. It wasn't a pass that was completed, but it was a big play. No, it was a big penalty. I think it was like 50 yards, 50-yard penalty. And this is when you have this kind of guy. Not saying he's Saquon Barkley, not saying that he's Alvin Kamara, but he is a type of guy that can do these kind of things.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Everybody else is using their running backs that have agility and have hands, and it seemed like we are not. You get what I'm saying? Now, that might not be the game plan. The game plan is probably pushing the ball down the field with AJ Brown and when Dallas Goedert was here and Devontae Smith. You do got to get those guys touches too. But Miles is dangerous. He's a dangerous running back, and I think he needs to be used more. When we talk about these screens, and I'm glad they have not been doing them as much. To me, Dallas Goedert and Miles Sanders, Quez Watkins, but it's just like you can see when it's going to be a Quez Watkins screen. You get what I'm saying? So to me, Dallas Goedert and Miles Sanders should be your screen guys, and everybody else, man. Just don't force it. If it come naturally or whatever the case will be, but you can't keep forcing these screens, and they have not been doing it in the last couple of weeks, and I'm happy for that. I was screaming at the top of the hill, stop these screens, people are on it, and they're adjusting, man. And this is another reason why I think that we're the best team in the league, because people don't know what to expect. Jalen Hurts will come out here and throw for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns one week, and then the next week he throws for 1 touchdown, but puts you in position to score 40 points. So when you look at it, man, this team is dangerous. Yes, there's some things that we don't like collectively. Some of the run defense, but I think they started to tighten that up in the middle of the games. You know what I mean? Like they'll come out and who was it? Dylan to have a great drive, the first drive, and even Taylor the week before had a great drive, the first drive. I think he had like 46 yards the first drive, but then he had 20 after. You know what I mean? People don't understand that they're adjusting. They're figuring it out. Linval Joseph and Ndamukong Suh is as big as an add-on that you needed, man, and especially. And we ain't talking about this yet. Shout out to Gate City. What's going on, my guy? But you get the big dog back today.
Big dog.
You get the big dog back today, man. And lost 20 pounds. They saying he's faster. They saying he's stronger. Oh man, I can't wait. I can't wait to see this guy in action, man. Go ahead, yo.
What up, Gate?
What's good, guys? How's everybody doing, man?
We were missing you. We were missing you.
Sorry, man. I apologize, y'all. It was my fault because I was the first one that said I was going to be late today. I thought it was just going to be a little late. It turned out to be a hell of a lot late. So my bad, y'all.
Yeah, I was late too. That's why you saw it went from 11:40 to 12 o'clock, and we didn't go live until 12:05. And I literally ran up here as soon as we got there. Fresh was the first person on time, so kudos to Fresh. But Gate, how are you feeling about this matchup? Tennessee coming in, losing to the Bengals. They're 7-4. Still, I think they're in first place in their division. Their division's kind of poop with Jags, Texans, and Colts. But how do you feel overall about this matchup?
To be honest with you, if Tennessee was at full strength, I think this could be a very worrisome game just because, you got to look at the way that we match up versus certain teams. If you can really defend the run and you can play ball control, it's a tough assignment. With that said, man, when they're down Jeffrey Simmons, that's a big loss, man.
He's out? He's out? I thought he was questionable.
Yeah, they said
I thought he was out. Either way, even if he's not out, I mean, he's clearly going to be.
I'm good at this. Give us the injury report. Let us know.
Yeah, even if he's not out, he's going to clearly be hindered, and that's a big loss, man. Because Jeffrey Simmons he's a real deal, man. That dude's with that said, man, like. I feel like this is a game that everybody's kind of got their eye on because everybody wants to see us slip. They want to see us stumble. And a lot of people, I had it like I ain't even really made videos this week because I've been so busy. And yet I still got Cowboy fans chiming in talking about like, oh, y'all about to lose to the Titans. Man, I've been saying this all year. This is a game y'all about to get dropped. Like, man, y'all said that about quite a few games this year. But, I guess we'll just ignore every other prediction.
Say it every game.
Yeah, exactly. I know we didn't lose to Green Bay.
Simmons is out.
Yeah. So.
Oh, they said he out? Oh.
Yeah. That's a big loss for them, man. That's a huge loss. Like that's a ball player. That's a real good ball player.
Yeah.
I would like to see what this defensive line does with Jordan Davis in the game now. Because I'm assuming he's going to be out there and dressed. So that's going to be, man. That front have the potential of having a rotation of like Linval Joseph and Jordan Davis and Dominican Sue, Fletcher Cox, Siobhan Hargrave, Milton Williams, man, that interior is going to be something to watch.
Super fresh in the fourth quarter.
Yeah. You're going to need it this game. Like, because that's the one thing I'll say about Tennessee is they're not just going to stop running the ball.
Nah.
Like,
and can I say another thing about the defense? And they're making timely plays. Like every time we needed to stop against the Colts, they made that play. Whether it was a sack, whether it was a fumble, whatever it was they needed to do, this defense was making the plays, and they made the same plays last week. Like I said, I understand. Yes, they scored, but once again, when your special teams putting the guys on the 40-yard line, it's just like, damn, like how long? Like I don't know. To me, it's a lot of comments. There's a lot of people DMing me, and they're getting on Jonathan Gannon, and I don't think he's doing that bad. Like I literally got somebody in my DM saying like he's the worst defensive coordinator in the league, and I'm like, well, you must not be watching football, my man. Like, it's not even close. Like it's not even close. So when you look at it, to me, man, these last couple games, well, especially last game, it really wasn't on the defense. Yes, you put up 33 points, but people, once again, that's Aaron freaking Rodgers. It's Aaron Rodgers. Like people tend to forget that. You know what I mean? So
we got like 24 out of 33 points from their 40 into our territory too.
Yeah,
so I mean,
special teams.
that's got to be counted for. You know what I mean?
When they had to go from the 20 to the 20, they didn't score unless it was a field goal.
Yeah, I think the general person watches the Eagles defense in its totality and sees like the inconsistencies in the fact that we like. Let's look at the Colts game for example. They literally walked down the field on us the first possession like we were the worst defense ever, and then we go 3.5 quarters, pretty much not giving them an inch. A bunch of 4th and out, 3 and outs, and just grind it. I think when you combine certain drives with the bend but don't break defense that we have, that is where the average fan just gets pissed. But we are holding teams to about 17 points per game. The passing yards are way down. There's a lot of things statistically that Jonathan Gannon is doing right. Again, what sticks out to us now is the bend but don't break, and the fact that sometimes he refuses to load the box to stop that run. Now, with the personnel he has, we might not need to do it, but we did bring up a linebacker. What is your take on that? Do you think we get to see some more linebacker packages? You get to see some Nakobe Dean today?
I doubt it. Man, I hate to be the naysayer, Mike, but I doubt it. I doubt it. I mean, at this point, it's kind of like he should have already been involved in a rotation. I feel like with the depth you have at the defensive line, it doesn't seem likely that you're going to see a really huge rotation from like a 4-2-5 or a 52 front. You're probably going to see a lot of 5-1 mixed in with some 4-2 on occasion. I mean, look, I would love to see the kid at least get in and get 5-10 snaps a game. I mean, see where he's at, see where the development stands. Let's see how the defense responds to that. But I look, what I prefer and what they'll probably do, probably completely different thing.
And just for GP, the chat has chimed in again, and Simmons is active, so I guess he is playing. But it doesn't matter. We talking about a 10-1 team. He's a great player, but you talk about a 10-1 team. We'll be all right. We'll be all right. And as Gates said, he's not at full strength. And listen, I always want to play teams at their strongest. I don't wish injury on no team. But Gate did call it. Like, if you look at a team that, if you had to describe the best way to beat the Eagles thus far, like, no matter what we believe this run defense can be and might show us, the recipe to beat the Eagles is ball control, run the ball, and play great run defense. Now, we've beat some great run defenses, and I don't think we should always, no matter how good the run defense is statistically, when you are as good as you are, you still can do what you want to do. So never abandon the run. But I do think we're going to take advantage of these wide receivers. And again, if you had to draw up a recipe to beat the Eagles, it would be the Titans formula for actually playing football. So this is a big game to me because I want to see, and I talked about this on my channel and the Fresh before you got on here, Gate. Like, I don't believe Linval and Ndamukong Suh got their full NFL legs. I think they're still trying to get back active. Jordan Davis coming back from 4 weeks, losing 20 pounds or not. I think he got to get back up to playing shape still too. But like going into the playoffs, maybe having to face a San Fran team that can run the ball, a Dallas team that if they want to and they decide to can run the ball. Who knows if the Giants get in, they can run the ball. I really want to see how this team acts in a game where you're facing a great rusher. You know they're going to run the ball on you, play action you, and I just want to. It's like it's a test for my eyes to see. Okay, when we get to that January football, late December football, I feel confident. You come into Philly trying to run the ball in the cold, it ain't happening. You know what I mean? It's something that I really want to see. And although we are healthy, I still don't believe most of our run defenders are up to full speed. But this is going to be a great test.
Yeah, to me, Mike, it's about third downs. Like you got to play with your hair on fire on third down to beat this Eagles team. That's the bottom line. You got to maintain ball control, which means converting your third downs, and you got to get this freaking offense off the field on third down when you play the Eagles. If you don't, it's going to be tough to stick to a running game because Jalen Hurts and this offense can put 30 on you quite easily. And that's really the thing. Like, I look at this team and I'm like, oh man, if something's not right along the defensive line, like I don't love their depth and their rotation at defense, although their starters are good. But then again, man, I look at their secondary. That's a lot of young dudes out there trying to cover some pretty good receivers that we got. I liked Roger McCreary during the draft process. Man, if it comes up to a matchup where I got Devontae Smith or A.J. Brown or Roger McCreary, I'm going there all day.
Facts.
Yeah, not gonna lie to you, that definitely favors us. I mean, but that favors us on so many teams. You know what I mean? Like the wide receivers and the position skill players that we have. So to me, when you look at it, they just have to be utilized right. You know what I mean? Somebody comment about the fumbles, and we talked about it earlier. AJ Brown being sick, but for the most part,
I'll be right back. Go ahead, y'all keep going real quick.
All right. Okay. For the most part, we gotta get in the what's called. It's almost quarter up. But for the most part, when you look at it, this team doesn't really turn the ball over. The last couple of weeks have kind of been an anomaly. I don't know what's been going on, but going into it. What was it? Week 7, week 8, we only had 3 turnovers. Now I think we had committed 5 since then, 5 or 6 since then. So we up to probably 9, probably double digits, 10. I don't know, but that's still damn good to be in week 13. That's less than a turnover a game. You know what I mean? So you don't want to turn the ball over. I get it, I understand it, but at the same time, we're leading the league in the ratio of turnovers to making turnovers, if you get what I'm saying. So to me, man, definitely got to protect the ball. You got to protect the ball against anybody. The Washington game proved that. Obviously, you fumble twice, and you get a pick, and that's really the ball game there. You know what I mean? And that really shot Washington up. And ever since then, I think they've been winning. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think they lost the game since they beat us.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think they have won pretty much every game since then. And to be fair, like people look at this and they say, "Oh, the offense is struggling." Well, it just put up 40 points. Like, I'm not too sure how much this offense is struggling, to be honest. I mean, I think there's a rhythm and consistency thing without Goddard in the game that's pretty evident. But to be fair, the Colts are not some chump change defense. They held Pat Mahomes to 17 points, picked him off, and won the game.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If we're going to be real about this. And Washington, it was a comedy of errors. They played, like I said, with their hair on fire on third down, both offensively and defensively. But the truth be told, there were a lot of opportunities to take that game, but we had a comedy of errors, and it led to our first loss on the season. I mean, if that's the recipe to beat this team, it's going to be a very, very difficult team to knock out of the playoffs because it's going to be really hard to duplicate that. I mean, I look at it this way, and it's like, okay, like, can the run defense, can we stop the element of time of possession being our, the Achilles heel? Right. Can we win that? When we get to January, potentially February, and these games really, really matter because it's, it only takes one loss to send you home, can the run defense step up? That's to me, that's going to be the biggest thing for the Eagles.
The biggest thing for the Eagles is definitely pertaining to that, what you're saying. To me, when you look at it, and you the stat guy. I'm not really the stat guy, but it is a interesting stat that I heard that was told to me that the Titans lead the league. Well, they don't lead the league, should I say? They're the worst in the league when it comes to Henry behind the line of scrimmage.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like when somebody hits behind the line of scrimmage, should I say? When somebody hits him behind the line of scrimmage, he averages like it's something crazy, but it's like the last of the league. So to me, you got to get after him before he get his legs turning. Before he gets to go uphill, you got to get after him. You know what I mean? We about to get out of here soon. So Gates, if you want to do your, I know you don't like score predictions, but if you want to give your offense and defensive player, I do mine, and then when Mike come back on, he'll do his, and also your score prediction too. I know you don't like it, but that's what we do.
All right, I'll do offense. Offense. I'm not going to take the cheap route, man, because I know like it's not fair to go first on this one, so I'll roll myself out not taking AJ Brown because that's the easy one. That's not fair to go first and do that. So I'm going to say Devontae. I'm going to go with the guy across from him. I'll say Devontae Smith offensively. I think you'll see one of those games where it's going to be about like 6 for 80 and a touchdown, just because I think there will be opportunities against the secondary to make plays. Defensively, this is one of those games to where you got to come up, you got to play the run. I'm going to go TJ Edwards, man. I think this is a game where TJ's got to get back there, man. We need plays that constitute a loss, We need to have those success rate plays in this game. Tackles for loss, things like that. And you got Linval Joseph, you got Jordan Davis, you got guys that can potentially free you up to get in the backfield. Just got to take advantage of it. So I'm gonna say TJ Edwards, man. I think TJ Edwards is a guy that might have maybe 2 or 3 tackles for loss in this game. Score prediction. This is the tough part.
We didn't have to even remind you.
Freck reminded me like 3 times when he starts the section. Score prediction. I'm going to say I think it's going to be one of those games where the score might say one thing, but the actual pace of the game is going to be completely different. I'm going to say 31-21 Philly, but I feel like it's going to be kind of a late pull away or like a late rally where the game becomes closer than what the score would indicate.
I think the last game was like that too. I'm not going to lie to you. Even though they put up 33 points, that wasn't that close of a game to me. All right. I'm going to go offense. Offense, I got to go to the guy, man, I did the free giveaway where I think that the Titans are not that good at stopping the run, and Miles Sanders just has a day. He goes off again. Not saying he's going to run for 150, but I got him for like 75 on the ground, and if we can get some screens, it might be able to get 30, 40 out of them in the receiving area. You know what I mean? And a couple tubs. So I think Miles Sanders kind of goes off, and he's looking at it like everybody's talking about Derrick Henry. Everybody's talking about Derrick Henry. What about me? I'm gonna show y'all. All right, so defense. I'm gonna go with the new guy, man. Shout out Blankenship, man. I'm gonna go with the new guy. I think for the simple fact of the way he fills the gaps, the way he attacks the gaps, should I say. And this is the kind of safety that you need. Now, I love C.J. Gardner-Johnson. Love him. But like me and Mike was talking, and he makes business decisions, and so does Darius Slay when it comes to tackling. They throw the shoulder out there, and you need to wrap this man up. You need to hit this man's legs. I'm talking about Derrick Henry. You know what I mean? So I think Blankenship is the perfect missile or torpedo or whatever you want to call it to get the job done. Score prediction, man. I got it 33-17.
I like it. So I missed Gate City's offensive player. Who was it?
I said I wasn't gonna. I said I won't go AJ Brown since I had the first pick because I felt like that was a little unfair. So I went Devontae Smith. And then
Mike licking his chops. Look at Mike.
Well, I'm going AJ Brown. Listen, man. The man was sick. The man had, between his ankle and his illness, he's had a bunch of problems and a bunch of things negating a great game. He's been talking trash all season long on the Tennessee Titans, watching Monday Night Football games like nobody's open, and it's time to back it up. It's time to get back to the A.J. Brown we all know and love the first 5 to 7 weeks. I believe he's going to have a monster game. I got Jalen going around that 300 mark. I do think we're going to run the ball, but I think he's going to air this John out. It's a nice, crisp day in Philadelphia. A little sunny. Always sunny in Philly.
It's nice.
Listen, all Fresh got to do is look out the window. I saw you look out the window. We're not there. That being said, I got A.J. Brown going off. I think a lot of receivers are going to eat today, but A.J. Brown for sure. Defensively, I'm going to go ahead and say Jordan Davis. He's coming back. His snaps is not exactly what we want, but I think you're going to have some big tackle for losses from Jordan Davis, 20 pounds or less. He's still the biggest man on the field. And so, King Henry, a big dude too, but when big meets big, something got to give, right? That being said, I got Jordan Davis coming back, making an impact in this first game. Do we hold him under 100? I don't know, but do it to where we don't feel like we got ran on all game. Get the dub. I got us winning 28-20. 8-point victory, 28-20. Let's get it. 11-1 sounds great.
Mike, that's an interesting thing when you talked about Jordan Davis in the snap count, because there's something about this that feels like, man, they're going to throw him out there. I like the way we thought like Linval, Joseph, those guys are going to be worked into like a small rotation the first game. Like, man, I feel like they're going to be like, nah, this young man have 4 weeks off. He's fully healthy. Dude on drop pounds. Get out there.
Get out there.
I feel like they're going to turn him loose.
I'll take it. So we pretty good. I had the lowest score. I had 28, but I still think, that's what the Eagles do. 28 and 30. That's right where we sit. But I got us winning 28-20 in Philly. Let's get to 11-1. Cowboy fans going to be watching. They on our heels. Same with the Vikings, but we not giving them we keeping the foot on the gas pedal.
What time they play? 4:00?
I don't even know.
They got Sunday night, I think.
Oh, they got Sunday night?
Against the Colts?
Yeah, I believe so.
Ew.
That's all good.
I would love for the Colts to beat them, though. That's just going to be load up the clip.
I feel like after a certain week in the season, you shouldn't wait to see how the season plays out before you set, the night games, like primetime games. Don't make assumptions teams are going to be good past a certain week.
I mean, they do that, but they only do it for like week 17 and all that,
Yeah,
like it's a TBD. It be TBDs on there, but it's only week 17. But you're right. I think nobody, especially them Thursday games. Nobody. I guess you gotta do it. You got to do the Thursday games because it's Thursday. I get it, but they gotta do a better job at these Thursday games. Man, they're horrible.
They're hard to watch.
Yeah, especially anytime Denver plays. Sheesh. With that being
that's
said,
probably why they put it on Amazon Prime. Ain't nobody watching that.
Yo, for real though. But listen, I see some Titan fans in here. Have your fun now because you won't be able to soon. Now listen, I'm gonna be live for the play-by-play. Just gotta run downstairs and grab the crown. If you want to swing by. Philly Fresh will probably be live at halftime. You still doing that? Check that out. Check that out. Anything y'all got to say before we get up off here?
Stay Philly, stay fresh, y'all.
Hey, 11-1 sounds good to me.
Facts. I couldn't agree more. Come through the Philly Talk Podcast. We'll be live. We out. Oh, wait. Hit that like button. We got over 400 people in here. I ain't asked y'all to hit the like button. And some people just don't hit the like button unless you ask them. And even if you ask them, they don't hit the like button anyways. It's free, bro. I'm just kidding. Hit it wherever you're watching it, though. For real, though. We appreciate y'all. We out.
Later, y'all.
Oh, damn.